It's still real to me, damn it!
I will send you to Jesus.
Okay, Raw was Raw. Over the state of affairs, I'm gonna do a Raw review. As well as I bless my job for giving me the opportunity to not do these reviews while not watching it live. Well, we had, of course, a few matches. We had, of course, Lashley against Dominic for who's going to be part of the Team Raw. And then we opened with an 8-man tag after an intro involving Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. I'm not really invested over in the main event feud of Big E and Seth Rollins because they're just making Big E look bland. Big E looks like a goddamn power lifter. Why are you having him not being more, charismatic? You're not spreading over the floor for him. You don't give him over mid-card matches when there's no interest, especially when you're not building over your current stars. And WWE has this issue with this. If they did before, so a certain amount of people didn't have to get released. I'll at least admit that. Certain people, over the fault of WWE's branding or even way of selling their stars, there's a reason why the format doesn't work for a lot of people. And just coming over to Kevin Owens' entire integrity, just whining over like a bitch to everybody else, over Mysterio, to Big E, I don't care. And it had Kevin Owens snapping Owens backstage with Big E earlier over the show, begging Big E to understand why he's an old backstabber of his career. Like, why is he going over this? Like, we know that you're a heel. You're a fat loser. No one cares. Like, you've been babyface for, the last, year, 2 years now. Who would care right now? Nobody knows your decimated personality, so it's automatic that they're gonna turn you face to turn you heel again, to the emotional interest of nobody, because you're just a rip-off Fat Austin. And just knowing, this is what we get from, watching Kevin Owens. He shows no ethical charisma at all. And this story thread comes into Rollins confronting him later over in the locker room, calling himself the face of Raw, even though he just were on SmackDown not that long ago, and it ended up with a brawl over to the promo. And then they have over a main event. So they don't even console Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was there for the Dominic and Lashley match later on, but he wasn't there to have his number one contender face off against a guy that's pissing him off. I don't get where the allegiance relies on. Just everything is mid-card that concerns Adam Pearce. I don't get that. That's not how you make over an authority figure. So we had an 8-man tag involving Rude and Ziggler, the Dirty Dogs, and Omos and Styles. Not like seeing Omos and Styles eating over the TV time. And they defeat RK Bro and the Street Profits. And it came over with Omos getting a chokeslam on Riddle after the heels try to distract Orton, ending up by Ziggler stealing the pin off an argument over the middle of the baby faces. So it ended up with nothing, but still an argument with the heels. Either way, it was an average match. It dragged it over from already an 8-minute segment, and the match lasted over 14 minutes. A bit too long for my tastes, and especially when you have a multi-tag with no story and none of their moves get over, and they're just there to submerge a plot that's going to be there until the next week, until the pay-per-view. No one's going to get that emotionally invested, bro. Everybody's like, oh, they just look at the great matches. But 15 years ago, whoever thought that they're just going to have a great match? Who just says that now? Lashley and Dominic. So Dominic was supposed to be edged over for Survivor Series match. So they announced the women's division's Survivor Series match, but they still have to make qualifiers to force bad morale already. Why you need to qualify for a match stipulation that's not important? At least back then, Okay, they used to fight for the control of the authority. Then earlier, evolution. Then there was the deadly games. Like there should be a plot submerging from facing Raw and SmackDown. Yet there never is. This isn't for branding. This isn't for ratings. This isn't for anything. So why try to screw over Dominic? And it's just weirdly enough, why would Adam Pearce do this when he's supposed to be the supposed babyface authority figure or official? I thought that's what we call the referees. No, he's an official. What does that mean? So he faces Lashley, and Lashley's playing with him. He spears him, power slams him. Dominic tries to do his flippy bullshit, even though the guy's like 6'4", and Lashley gives him the Hurt Lock, where he kind of cancels it off. Does the Hurt Lock again? Well, Rey Mysterio thinks he didn't beat him; he demolished him. Showing Rey Mysterio has a beef with Lashley, even though he should have beef with a guy that screwed over his son and gave him an unfair advantage. And then we have Big E beating Chad Gable, with Chad Gable like talking things over and hyping up Otis, even though Otis wasn't going to do anything. So it's obvious that you're trying to tease over Otis to get a push to feud over with to feud over Big E. The sad thing is this was in the middle of the show, so I felt less inclined to care about the momentum that goes into Otis. Thinks he's been squashing over jobbers for majority of his stuff on SmackDown, and they don't try to emphasize like what's big with Otis now after being the fun-loving fat dude. Since being with Chad Gable, they never won the tag belts, they never won titles. The most they've done was beat up Dominic Mysterio, that everybody can do on the main roster, and that's about it. He won over with the big ending, taking off his goddamn straps like he had a 15-minute classic, and that was it. Then we had Reginald regaining back the 24/7 title after Drake Maverick lost it from Akira Tozawa. Then Corey Graves picked up a roll-up to get the win. Then Byron Saxton, Corey Graves' long-living racism commentary partner, literally picked up the 24/7 title for the first time. And then Drake Maverick pinned him, and then Reginald pinned him with some kind of spinning crossbody. It looked cool. Other than that, that's about it. I wish they actually did some plots with 24/7 Championship, or added more people instead of just, oh, we get this random C-list celebrity, or, oh, look, a woman holds it, or there's, like, no story involving it. The most we had with the story is just R-Truth just being remarkably unfunny with it. Just being like, yo, is that Randy Orton? Oh, he's dead? Oh, I get it. Like, how we get the schizophrenic, like, insane black dude into now R-Truth is retarded. I don't get it. Like, is it because his body doesn't age, but his head does? I don't get how that works. That's a bit odd for me. That's a bit hard for me to process. And then we had Liv Morgan beating Carmella, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley in a 5-way in a roll-up in a 20-minute match. Yeah, how's that supposed to get Liv over? Like, I love Liv Morgan. Cute chick. Has ways to improve in the ring, and I think that they're not trying to benefit off her looks or her ability to at least capture over a crowd. Thank God they released Nia Jax, but this is not a way to get her over with a goddamn roll-up with Becky Lynch looking like I need to get Lynch looking at her fashion, trying to pull off leather pants. Even though she's a mother with one daughter, she looks like she had 17 with how she does not look well in that pants. Doudrop comes around attacking Bianca Belair because she's racist. And just going over, like, teasing over a heel run because a fat bitch that looks like a 40-year-old honey boo boo cannot get over and has no character anyway. And they're trying to tease over, like, oh, you don't deserve it, so how come you didn't get over your match with Becky Lynch? And how come I didn't earn a title shot? And it came over with Doudrop earlier in the match, distracting her. So there was some hits over from the steel steps. Doudrop got a roll up over Carmella to pick up the victory. It ended up with there was a brawl argument going over Bianca Belair and Doudrop that happened earlier during the call for the 5-way. With Bianca Belair, when she got called for a title shot, she come around like, that's my character now. I wave my hair like a big 3-year-old dumbass. That's about it. I don't care about Bianca Belair anymore. Like, I'm losing a bit of faith. And then we got Liv Morgan teasing over her push that she's possibly going to lose in another 28-minute match that's going to be full of false finishes and hopes and dreams dashed. And then our main event of the evening. This ran over for like 3 hours, and I don't remember most matches. We had Rollins against Kevin Owens in a countout in our main event with Big E on commentary for no apparent reason. So how come they didn't tease over Otis to get the match? And you could have had this match over in the mid-card. This is just quintuple mid-card, man. And AEW is the same thing. I don't get this strategy by having your top-of-the-line contenders and you have them do over the main event with a match that has no benefits in line when Rollins is already the number one contender. So why finish off something on countout in the main event? So Big E was ringside. Of course, if you haven't seen the Rollins and Kevin Owens match from 2016 match, then you're in for some boredom. Superplex into a counter. There was a big hit over to the steel steps. Roll up into a super kick. A pop-up powerbomb that is not the finish anymore. Big E was hit over to the... Big E was taken up in the situation and hit for a powerbomb up the apron. Then somehow we came up to an attacking Big E that ended over in a countout. This match wasn't bad, but this match was a bit of a waste of time if you're going to force over possibly a triple threat match. Or you're going to force over something else like a tease for a heel run over for Kevin Owens again when the stunner shit does not get him over. Like he's built like Grimm's Toy Show doing backyard wrestling moves and an indie-rific charisma vacuum. Like, don't get me wrong, Kevin Owens can be an entertaining heel, but I don't see any look that you could have other than the angry fat dude. That's about it. I don't get it. He's just a better in-ring Bill DeMott. I don't get it. I don't get the whole allure with Kevin Owens. I'm just not emotionally invested in the majority of the show. This has been better over the past 3 weeks, but that doesn't mean that the show was completely good. Like, I would not go in my time and feel like, oh, whatever I'm watch today, and rewatch Raw. No. So, that's it coming from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review of Kevin Owens bitching and two forced heel turns that nobody's invested in. And our world champion is still a mid-carder. Amazing how the show has no atmosphere at all. And yet they feel like it's the new generation of low ratings. Other than that, that's it for me. If you guys enjoyed the review, please comment down in the comment section below how you guys feel or your opinions on the show or anything else you want me to do on the channel whatsoever. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.